Looking up from this point at about 12.5 in Keplinger's couloir, it's pretty intimidating, but I figure that if they could climb it in 1868, it can't be that bad, right? Right?
That's writer Dougald MacDonald retracing a route first pioneered by John Wesley Powell up Long's Peak. In this trip report, our map scout pieces together a stunning 5 to 7 day loop. This 43-mile trip starts with a bang, a 2,800-foot climb from Bear Lake to Flat Top Mountain. From the summit, drop 2,000 feet and pitch a tent at one of 3 backcountry campsites. The total mileage for the day is roughly 8 miles. Rest your legs the next day. Descend 4.5 miles to Big Meadows and pick from several more campsites in the valley. From camp, it's a 2-hour hike to the village of Grand Lake, population 435. Resupply and grab a quick lunch, then continue hiking up the East Inlet Drainage. In 6.6 miles, camp near Lake Verna for the best campsite in the valley.
Up behind me is Lake Verna, which is the biggest of the lakes up here in the East Inlet Creek drainage. It's a long, skinny lake, almost like a fjord with cliffs on either side.
Follow an unmaintained trail east to Spirit Lake.
Looking at Spirit Lake here, and right up there is Boulder Grand Pass, which is what we have to cross to get to Thunder Lake, Wild Basin, and our approach to Long's Peak.
Trace the drainage to Fourth Lake. Now bushwhack east-northeast through dense evergreens to a tawny alpine meadow.
Well, I've just taken the last few steps up to Boulder Grand Pass. Breathing pretty hard up here. It's almost 12,000 feet. And got a late start, so it's pretty late in the day, but plenty of time to get down to camp.
On the descent, skirt a permanent snowfield. Continue to the designated campsites just east of Thunder Lake. Follow game trails and climb 500 feet to North Ridge.
From here you can see the whole historic route followed by John Wesley Powell and his team in 1868. They went over Mount Alice there, and traversed along the ridge, and then up Chief's Head Peak here. They had thought they'd be able to go straight over to Long's from Chief's Head, but what they found was the ridge over Pagoda has technical rock climbing, and they had to backtrack and then descend into this valley here.
Secure a special permit to bivvy camp near Hunter's Creek, a great starting point for the summit bid tomorrow. Earmark a good 12 to 14 hours for the last day. It starts with a 1,600-foot climb in Keplinger's couloir.
Okay, we've reached about 12,500 feet in Keplinger's couloir. This is the highest point we've reached on this trip so far. Still a long way to go to the summit of Long's Peak.
After a few hand and foot moves and a snowy chute, pick up the keyhole route to the summit of Long's Peak, the highest point in Rocky Mountain National Park.
It's amazing to come up here, finally be on top after all that time. I'm covering so much terrain. Way you can see it all out there. A lot of the time you're looking up at Long's Peak, and you just wonder if you're ever going to get there. Well, it wasn't easy climbing up Keplinger's with a big pack, but it sure has been worth it.
Scramble down the keyhole route into a long, snowy gully.
Here's the trough going up toward the Narrows at the top there. It's about shin-deep snow in places and pretty icy at the top.
Traverse arid ledges, pass through the keyhole into the aptly named Boulder Field. The last 10 miles links the Keyhole Route, North Long's Peak, and Glacier Gorge trails back down to Bear Lake. For more details, including turn-by-turn GPS data and maps, go to backpacker.com/fly Rocky Mountain.